One of the most important things that I've learned about dog behavior didn't come from dog training. It didn't come from the books. It didn't come from the seminars. It didn't come from the dog behavior course I took when I was in veterinary technology. It didn't come from certifications. It came from my Newfoundlands. Yep, my Newfies. And what they taught me changed the way that I look at dogs and behavior, leadership, and, well, even people. Because over and over again, they showed me one simple truth. If you remain grounded, others will reveal the truth in themselves. This is something that I wanted to talk about a little bit more today. The dogs that changed my life and the lessons that they taught me. Sorry, it's sometimes hard. I've waited a bit to talk about this because, as you know, I lost Nigel. So that pain is still a little raw, but we're going to get through it together. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. Hey there, friend. If you're someone who, like me, loves your dog so much and deep down knows that there is so much more to just owning a dog and training a dog and living with a dog. You ever felt like there's more than just click and treat and repeat, more than just managing the behavior, more than chasing the next technique, more than trying all of the tools and the tips, more than just trying to control every little thing that your dog does? If you know that there's something deeper available for you to learn about your dog and how to build a bond that transcends, I want to invite you to check out the Fearless Framework. The Fearless Framework is my 12-month online coaching program where we dive deep into understanding dogs, understanding behavior, and most importantly, understanding your dog. Together, we talk about how to build trust and connection and influence, how to snap back when you have those setbacks, because you're going to have setbacks, friend. And I'm here for all of it. Because when you truly understand your dog, behavior just starts to make sense. And when behavior makes sense, everything changes. So if you're looking for that missing piece, that thing that you can't quite put your finger on, but you know exists, come and check out the Fearless Framework. Head on over to beyondobedience.ca/fearless. Let's do this together. I'll see you there. Well, hello, my dog-loving friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Super duper welcome. If you are brand new, hey, high five to you, my friend. Who sent you here? Did you stumble across it? If you did, snaps for you. Snaps for you. And if a friend sent you, give that friend a hug for me. Give that friend a hug for me. I'm a hugger. Are you a hugger? Excuse me, I had to take a drink. I'm a hugger. I like hugging. Anyway, all right. Whatever brought you here, I'm glad you're here. I'm kind of running down memory lane a little bit. This does get a little bit hard for me. I've been reflecting. I think it came up again because I also recently lost Levi, who was the heart and soul of everything I learned about feral, fearful dogs came from that dog there. The Levi, I'll tell you something. I was talking to my friend Jamie about this, but I've been reflecting on everything that the dogs have taught me. And I will tell you this, like I've had a lot of dogs in my life. I've had a lot of dogs in my life. And every single one of them has made me a better person. Every single one of them. You know what Levi taught me? Levi taught me that letting go, like letting go of the control of trying to fix a dog, that when we let that go and we just focus on ourselves and the pack as a whole, you know, and I think there's something to be said about that. Thinking about the pack as a whole, even if you only have one dog, think about your home as a whole, the pack as a whole, your environment as a whole. That includes your family and the people in your lives and all that stuff. You think about it as a whole, and how are we all better together? And when you sort of widen the lens a little bit, all the pieces just kind of come together. Because Levi was the dog that, quote unquote, overnight, which wasn't overnight, but overnight seemed to just be better. He went from the dog that couldn't be adopted, that went to all the adopt me events and freaked out and panicked and, regressed back to, being terrified, all that stuff, to a beautiful little family dog, one that went out. This dog was part of all of our pack walks, all of our socials. He became he was like the core. He was a star student in everything. And that's what he taught me. He taught me to let go of that control, to learn to trust in the bigger picture, if that makes sense, right? Sometimes especially if we're focused so much on helping a dog or fixing a dog, that we get so hyper focused just on that dog, like needle pin, like laser focus on fixing that problem. And we stop and we don't recognize the bigger picture, and we miss it. And that's what Levi taught me. And so I've been kind of reminiscing right now. Still hurts. You know what hurts more than anything is my Facebook memories. Ugh. Between showing me the then and now from my kids, what? Stop doing that. Stop it. My kids when they were little, and between that and then I never realized, you know what? I'm going to look at it right now. I will tell you right now. Hold up. Photos. Search. Nigel. Search. There are 2,100 photos of Nigel on my phone. 2,159 to be exact. Photos of Nigel on my phone. What? And a lot of those I posted on Facebook. So those keep coming up as memories. And I want to so badly get to a point where those memories warm my heart. But right now, those memories just punch me in the gut. Anyway, this isn't supposed to be a sad thing. This isn't you, mate. This isn't for you to feel sorry for me. Please don't feel sorry for me. What was it? One of my friends said, I think the best line she ever could have said to me is, what an honor and a treasure it was to love a dog so much that it hurts this bad to say goodbye. Ugh, so true. Anyway. All right, let's talk about some things. I wanted to talk about this idea of the number one thing that the Newfs as a whole have taught me. And this, if you don't, let me take you back, friend. Let me take you back to the beginnings of where Beyond Obedience started, because Beyond Obedience started as an idea. First of all, it started from my good friend Susan, who recognized when I was working in daycare. This was not to talk about how long ago it was. My youngest has just turned 18. This was back when he would have been 2 or 3, maybe younger. And because that's when I went out to get a part-time job so I could get away from the house for a while, because I was starting to go a little crazy. Anyway, but it started off with, the recognition that I had this, this innate thing with dogs, And then that led to me helping people with their dogs. But I remember one of the first quote unquote clients, I guess, that I had was, the typical, I have a dog, he's reactive. He's a big guy. His name was Tonka, great dog. And he was this big guy, like bull mastiff-y mix kind of beast, and just all muscles and drool, like that kind of a dog. And he was reactive, and she was like, I have that dog. I have the neighborhood dog that everyone hates. Everyone hates my dog. Like, I have to walk him late at night or early in the morning. I got to hope that no one sees him. He acts like a fool, blah, blah, blah. And so I had said to her, I'm going to bring my dog. Now, for this particular dog, I brought Mariah, and Mariah was my female Newf. And she was like, don't bring a dog. Like, why would you bring a dog? I need you to help me fix him. And I was like, I'm going to bring my dog. Anyway, fast forward, long story short, essentially he came out of the house. He started popping off like he did. And Mariah didn't care. And like, legitimately did not care. And almost like a toddler having a temper tantrum. If there's no one there, if there's no energy feeding back at you, like if you're getting nothing from the behavior, in essence, if the behavior doesn't work, they offer up other behavior. And essentially, and this kept happening time and time again, but Tonka was the first one. She was absolutely floored, like amazed. She's like, he's never been able to get anywhere near a dog. We took him out for a walk around the neighborhood. People were out mowing their lawn and was like, Lynn, is that you? And she's like, yep. And he's like, what's going on? Tonka's walking with the dog. Like, Tonka was absolutely great. And did that mean that Mariah cured his reactivity? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did not. What it showed, though, was it showed Tonka's true nature. It allowed us, it gave us space and time to see Tonka's true nature. And that is what the Newfs brought to the table for me, right? That's what the Newfs brought to the table. Like, I was able to see what exactly was going on. They'll show you their truth if you have something like a Newf that is grounded and non-reactive. It's quite phenomenal. Now, I will tell you an opposite story to this. Okay? I had somebody call me that said they wanted to come and test their dog. Because by now, like, fast forward a little bit, I started offering, like, Lynn was like, I'm not going to be able to walk him. I like being able to go for walks. Is it possible for me to bring Tonka and go for walks with you and your Newfs? And we were like, yes. So that's what we did. She started walking. Then, I don't know, someone else heard about it. And I got a phone call saying, can I also walk my dog with your dogs? And I was like, okay. Before I knew it, this is before pack walks were a thing. Before I knew it, there were like strangers calling me going, can I walk my dog with your dogs? And I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but sure. So we had all these eclectic dogs coming to walk with me. But the one time I got a phone call from someone and they were like, I have a dog, very reactive. I heard that you will, like, come in. And I said, I started to make sure that people always came first on their own. Like, they had to basically test with my dogs before they could come for the weekly pack walks. So this woman shows up, and it was interesting because she parked beside my house, which was weird because no one parked there, but she chose to park there. And I said to her, okay, well, I'm going to bring my dog out. What we're going to do is, I'm going to walk past you, and then you're going to bring your dog up from behind. That's how I always did them, so that, their dog could smell my dog, blah, 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 all that stuff. And it was fascinating to me. So I came out of the facility with Mariah. Was there two dogs or just Mariah? Might have been just Mariah. Trying to remember. Because it was a male. See, if it was a male dog, I always used a female Newf. And if it was a female dog, I always used a male Newf. But I think it might have just been Mariah. I think it was just Mariah it was because that's what made it so, so weird. Because I should preemptively tell you that Mariah was innately unconfident. She was my innately unconfident dog. I worked really hard, building trust and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. You can hear that story some other time, but she was innately unconfident. And so I came out of the building and I couldn't even see the dog yet. I just saw like the woman's vehicle and I saw her head. I couldn't even see the dog. So I had no visual read on the dog. And Mariah, who always followed behind me, ever so slightly behind me, because again, innately and confident, and I had worked on, like, I've got you, I've got your back, all this stuff. All of a sudden, Mariah perked up, her chest went out, her hackles went up, and she moved in front of me. And I was like, what is actually happening? And I immediately, because she did it, I like the hairs on the back of my neck stood up and I was like, what's happening right now? Like, when you just get that feeling, like I was like, what's actually happening right now? And then I heard the dog was like popping off and just like going nuts. And as I kept sort of walking and Mariah kept trying to block me. And I'm like, what are you doing? And by the time I got up, I wasn't anywhere close to the dog, but by any chance, like by the way, but by the time I kind of went around and I looked at this dog, I just knew, like, I was like, ain't no way. Nope, 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 no, 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 no. Like, heck no. Like, this dog meant business. Like, he meant business. And I was like, nope. And I was like, oh, shoot. And I kind of went back. And then I said to her, I'm like, put him back in your car. And so she put him back in the car. And I basically was like, listen, I can't explain it to you other than if my dog says no, then this is a no-go. So it doesn't mean I won't work with you, but you're going to have to muzzle condition this dog first. And we're going to have to do muzzling, like, because there's something going on there. Anyway, long story short, we ended up doing that. And the dog ended up going on pack walks and working and wearing a muzzle, blah, 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 blah. But my point is, the fact that she didn't remain calm and was like, I don't like that. Well, like it still gave me the truth. It reveals the truth to you. Right. So I wanted to sort of take a moment to kind of talk a little bit about this powerful aha moment for me, because I mean, if you've ever met a Newf, you'll know that they aren't exactly known for their like urgency, right? And my dogs weren't. I mean, I'm sure some Newfs are like this, but my dogs were never trying to dominate anybody. They just were like, they were just sort of there, and there was no drama. They just have like this quiet sort of confidence about them. And if the reactive dog came ready for battle, or a worried dog came expecting danger, or a frantic dog came, expecting to have something to react to, my Newfs would basically be like, okay. Right? Like, okay. I used to laugh because Gandalf would I'd always sort of personify him, because whenever he was dealing with like a dog that was, having a hard time emotionally regulating, he would go out, and if this dog like sort of came at him, he would like, protect himself. He'd turn his head and whatnot, and his shoulder to be like, I mean, no harm. I mean, no harm. I mean, no harm. Right. And then as soon as the dog stopped, he'd be like, now do you like me? And he would try again. Like, excuse me. I gotta take a drink. Oh gosh, this is fun. This is just me reminiscing. Gandalf was a character. Like he was never offended by behavior. Never offended by behavior. Like we used to put we would put the really, really dominant hard playing females, like the ones that like to body slam and whatnot that would offend any other dog. We'd put them with like Gandalf, or Arlington was great for that. Arlington used to play with a boxer that we fondly named No Bad Dog, because she was just like, she was such an intense player, and she would get into so much trouble. Like, all the dogs hated her, so we would put her with Arlington. Arlington loved her, just loved her, like, because he just, you know, No Bad Dog would never pop off because there was nothing to feed off of. Like, it was just this. Anyway, oh God, I'm smiling from ear to ear because my Newfs were everything. They're just everything, absolutely everything. Um. Anyway, so the whole idea is, right, when the dogs don't react, when there's nothing to respond to, the other dogs just settle. And then when those dogs settle, that's when the truth shows up. That's when you get to see the real thing, the real essence, the fact that all of that bravado and all of that stuff was just masking this massive insecurity. And I can work with insecurity, right? I can help an owner reach a dog that's insecure. It's hard to reach a dog that's popping off on the leash and lunging at everybody because you're just in management mode, right? So the Newfs weren't fixing the dogs. Like, as I mentioned with Tonka, Mariah didn't fix him. He wasn't all of a sudden like, oh, well, I guess I've been irrational for all these years. All dogs must be great. That's not what happened. But it allowed us to remove the noise. It allowed us to be able to think for a second about what's going on. When everything around us is loud and emotional and reactive and chaotic, it's hard to know what is really going on. Is the dog fearful? Are they excited? Are they frustrated? Are they insecure? Are they overstimulated? We can't tell because it all looks the same. It's all noise and chaos. But when the noise disappears, the truth comes out. That dog slowly starts to show us who they really are. And the funny thing is that these dogs were also able, like my Newfs were able to give those dogs a win. They got to go home from pack walks knowing that they walked with other dogs, they were around other dogs, and they didn't die. Right? If you've been around the block with me for a while, you know I talk about this idea that, fearful dogs are like, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And then they get home or they get through the experience and they go, oh, I didn't die. And it's the, I didn't die moments that life layer and build confidence and allow them to be more explorative and curious and expand their world. And that's what the Newfs provided these dogs, opportunities to be with other dogs, to not feel threatened by other dogs, to not have to act a fool around other dogs, to be able to be quiet, to be able to walk. You know how many dogs, I can't even tell you how many dogs would come to me saying that, like, well, the dogs obviously got to ride with their owners, but they would come to me like with this thing, like, my dog hates other dogs, doesn't like other dogs. And in one session, the dog is running around playing with dogs. All because the Newfs revealed the truth, and the truth gave space for them to be who they are. I can't even tell you how many times owners would start to cry. Always in the arena, because that's where we did all of our work, but always in the arena. I would always start out the same way. I would have them be over there. I would see what the dog would do in the presence of my dog, see their reaction. And then usually within the hour, if it was just literally insecurity, I would by then bring out other dogs that would play with that dog, and they would be running around playing, and the joy that it would bring the owner to be like, oh, my dog, like, just to know that their dog wasn't broken. They're not broken. What does this mean for you, my friend? What does this mean for you? It means that you can also use what the Newfs taught me and be that grounded calm for your dog. Now, it's hard. It is hard. It's hard because we're emotional. Gosh, we're emotional. Us humans. Oh, we're so emotional. And we get stuck in our heads and we replay past things over and over and over again. Right? Because this is where things are going to get a little bit uncomfortable, because we like to think that we're observing our dogs. But the reality of it is we are actually participating in the situation. Your dog isn't responding to just the environment, other dogs, strangers, bicycles, and squirrels. They're responding to that, yes, and also you. You are part of the environment. Whether you intend to be or not, you are a part of it. So the question I always have to ask myself all the time is, what am I bringing to this moment? Am I bringing frustration? Am I bringing anxiety? Am I bringing anticipation? We do that a lot. There's a fine line, right? Because I always talk and I always talk to people about this idea of, I want you to be aware of threats, right? I want you to be aware of threats. I want you to see the world the way the dog sees the world. I want you to think about it the way the dog thinks about it. What are angles and what is a strategic advantage and all of that stuff. I want you to think about all that stuff. But I don't want you to be in anticipation of threats. There's a difference. Standing for threats is one thing. Anticipating threats, being like, is there a threat around there? Is the threat around every corner? That creates tension. And then you become part of that. Now you're just both scared dogs looking for threats, right? Now you're both reactive dogs just looking for things to pop off on, right? So you need to ask yourself, what am I bringing? Am I bringing all those things, or am I bringing clarity? Can I be the grounded one in this conversation? I'm contributing information to the situation. And my dog is going to read that information, whether I realize it or not. And if you're working with me, or you've been listening to the podcast for a while and you're trying to do some of this stuff and you're trying to build this bond and connection, know that your dog is going to start looking to you for information. They're going to start looking to you, go, I'm feeling uncomfortable. How do you feel? And if you also feel uncomfortable, they're going to be like, well, we're both screwed. Like, now we're both not going to make it, right? Your dog is going to start paying attention to you. So you need to be aware of it. Your dog's going to read that information, whether you realize it or not. And I think they're probably reading it far more than we often give them credit for. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is becoming so focused on what the dog is doing that they never stop to consider what they're adding to the situation. When we're worried about the reaction, when we're anticipating the explosion, when we're holding our breath, when we're gripping the leash, when we're mentally rehearsing the disaster, who does that? I put my hand up. Who does that? Like, I just on a even like a personal note, I don't do it as much with dogs anymore, but with like all my life things. Like, I am someone that can picture the worst case scenario for everything. I can plan it out in great detail, I might add. It's an art that I have. But when we're doing all of those things, we're creating almost like emotional static, right? This staticky emotional charge that's just in the air that makes communication harder, not easier. You know, we lose so much information, and before long, everybody is reacting to everybody else. Your dog's reacting to that dog. You're reacting to your dog. You know, everything's reaction. So the goal, though, isn't to become emotionless. Okay, like, we don't want you to be dead inside. That's not what we're looking for. And it's certainly not to become perfect. You're gonna mess up. That's going to happen. That's not to never to feel nervous. You're going to feel nervous. That's going to happen. The goal is to simply become aware, to recognize that your presence in this situation, your energy matters, that's what you're bringing to the table. Because when you can become grounded, your dog often starts showing you exactly what's underneath their behavior. And that's where real understanding begins. It's kind of cool, right? That's what the Newfs taught me. That's what the Newfs taught me. I miss them. I have 2 Newfs left. I should say that. Eclipse and Dakota are probably like, hey. I mean, they're 13. They're 13, but they're still here. They're like, hey. But when you remain grounded, your dog will often reveal the truth in themselves. They'll tell you who they are, what they need, what they're worried about, what they trust, and what they don't understand. You, my friend, simply have to become quiet enough to hear it. All right. So there you go. Woo! Thank you for walking down memory lane with me. Thank you for that. I appreciate you indulging me. That went longer than it was supposed to, but gosh, I miss those dogs. I have incredible videos of Nigel working with fearful dogs. He was, oh gosh, I don't want to cry. He was something. He was just something. Anyway. All right, my dog loving friend. Listen, if you like this sort of thing, can you do me a favor? Share this episode. Share it. Share it with a friend. Share it with a dog loving friend. Share it with a friend. Have them come and hang out with us over in the Living Beyond Obedience group. And as always, my dog loving friend, get out there today, and be the person that your dog thinks you are. Because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only, and it's not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you are really struggling with dangerous behavior with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.